Hello, I'm Emily,
Hi, I'm Tim.
and we're from Guide to the Magic.
Yeah,
Here to talk to you about everything theme park, particularly holiday related.
holiday theme parks, although not today.
No, today we are here to talk about Thorpe Park, particularly accessibility for plus size visitors at Thorpe Park and the restrictions with
The restraints and getting
restraints.
on the
That's the word I want.
rides. And just to give you a bit of background, so my name's Tim. I'm 6'3", so fairly tall, and I weigh about 130 pounds,
There you go.
130 kilos.
Must
Apologies.
say.
I made myself half the weight. Yeah, 130 kilos. So I am a plus size person.
And I am 5'8" and currently weigh about 134 kilograms. I'll put our measurements for the day that we went to Thorpe Park in the description down below, so you can just see sort of where we hold our weight. So the reason that we've been doing this, I started with a few videos at Disneyland Paris. I haven't done very many for a few years, so I'm sorry about that. But the reason we did it was probably about 8 years ago. We went to Alton Towers and had a terrible experience because I'd already looked at the restraints and done my measurements and checked that we were going to be able to get on some rides from what they had on their website.
Mm-hmm.
And then I couldn't get on very much at all. They had some test seats, not for all the rides, but some test seats out the front. Some of them I fitted in and then didn't fit on the ride and had to do what I call the walk of shame, which at that point I found extremely upsetting and extremely embarrassing. So from that, I have tried to take it as something positive, and tried to help other people who might have a similar problem to us with struggling with restraints, to give you some more information to see whether or not you feel like you would fit on a ride so that you don't have to go through that negative experience that we did.
Think the other thing is, so with our background, we do spend most of our theme park days probably in a Disney or Universal theme park, and there's a
They're
lot more
very
family,
accessible.
very accessible. There's a big thing about accessibility, especially in the US, and they're a lot more family friendly. Some of those rides compared to some of the larger roller coasters that you will get at the Merlin parks in the UK, and some of the other parks. Universal has got quite a few rides that have got slightly more restrictive restraints, where they do have to get so many clicks on it, or the bells has to go up. Yeah. So, but compared to the Disney parks were generally a lot more accessible. So
absolutely. So we're also using this as a little bit of a weight loss challenge. So we're both around about just over 4 stone down this year, each. And we're using this as a little bit of a weight loss target because all the Merlin theme parks close for the winter. So we're doing a few of the parks before they close because we've only just bought our passes. And then when they reopen, we will do some further videos and hopefully we might be able to get on a few more rides at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I think the sort of thing is to say we went to we did a big trip to Florida and to California and did all the Disney parks in the US this summer, and we did about between 15 and 20,000, 25,000 steps a day.
And we were taking it quite chilled.
Yeah, and we were doing it quite relaxed. I know people can do a lot more than 20,000 steps on a theme park day. We actually, although we did eat and drink quite well while we were away, we both lost weight while we were away just because we were doing a lot of steps compared to the portion of food that we were eating. And when we came back to the UK, it was like, we need something to get up and get us moving. What do we both like? We like theme parks. Let's go. There's a lot within a few hours drive of where we live, so let's go and have a go and see what we get on, and use that as a bit of a challenge to see what else we can get on by the time we have to renew our annual passes this time next year.
Absolutely. So we went to Thorpe Park the last week of September. It was a Monday and it was an absolutely beautiful day. So because it was such a beautiful day and it was sort of autumnal, some of the photos that I've got are a little bit shiny, where the sun has sort of crept in. But it was a really, really gorgeous day, really warm, really lovely. And crowds were particularly low, which was great because got through all of the rides within about 2 hours. Which isn't the best way to have a theme park day. We would much rather have a bit of a chilled day, but you might understand once we go through this why we did it so quickly. So we decided to go around the park anti-clockwise.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be like an Epcot thing, if people are going to call us like lunatics at that point for doing it this way around. I don't know. I've never been to Thorpe Park before. I don't know if there is the Merlin people who are in particular groups might say, no, you must go the other way around. But I'm hoping it's not. But yeah, we went
This
this
was
way
the way
around.
we did it. So we started with the Swarm. So what is the Swarm, Tim?
So the Swarm is a B&M wing coaster. So that's a coaster where the seats sort of sit off the track. So you've got nothing beneath you, and then you've got the track. So it's two seats either side of the track, basically, and your legs dangle. And I think there'll probably be some footage or some
so I'll add in some
stuff.
off-road footage. So the ride opened in 2012. It's themed loosely around the apocalypse. There is an upper and a lower height restriction for this ride because it's an over-the-shoulder restraint. So the lower height is 140 and the upper height is 196 centimeters. That seems to be fairly standard for Thorpe Park for the majority of the rides.
I mean, 196. I don't know what that is in feet. We're going to Google it very, very quickly.
So 6'5".
6'5". So say majority of people will fit. Majority of adults would certainly fit in between that grade. There's a lot of this is one of many, and there's a lot of rides that seem to have 140 centimeters as the minimum height requirement at Thorpe Park.
And they were all advertising 196 as the upper as well. Most of the rides seem to have a very similar restraint. So I'll put a photo in now, but it's an over the shoulder restraint with a seatbelt that comes up in between your legs as well, which has to clip in to the middle of the over shoulder restraint. So this makes it fairly restrictive rather than just a standard over the shoulder restraint.
If you've been to Disney, the over-shoulder restraints, such as like that's on Rock and Roller Coaster, which is Mighty What Used To. We both get on Rock and Roller Coaster very easily.
Yeah.
We've never had any problems. And to be honest, we've probably got clicks to spare on Rock and Roller Coaster. That's an over-the-head restraint. Similar is Incredicoaster at California Adventure, and the Indiana Spaces of that nicer vest restraint, which is a lot nicer now than the older one. Also the Indiana Jones Temple of Peril coaster at Paris as well. That's over the head restraint, and again, all of those don't have the seatbelt clips, whereas almost every single one at Thorpe Park, if not every single one for the roller coasters, did have the seatbelt clicks.
Yeah, so you had to be able. The team members were helping; they were pressing down.
Yeah, I mean, I managed to get the seatbelt. So I got on this ride with. We tried the test seat. It was it was tight, but it was not. I could get the seatbelt done up. Emily could not.
Nope.
So I think it's worth saying one of us had a great day at Thorpe Park on that Monday, and one of us didn't have such a good day.
It was a good job the weather was so nice.
So yeah, but actually when you went on, there's a few differences between the seat and the test seat. And the first thing is once you pull the restraint down, it doesn't actually ping back up again, whereas in the test seat, it does ping back up again. So it's sort of, once you pull it down, it stays fixed, which means it's easier to actually get the seatbelt fastened because you're not having to hold it down. But then during the safety checks, the team member does come and push down, and there probably was a few more centimeters that the restraint sort of got pushed into me, so I felt nice and secure on that ride because you've got your legs dangling. Once you start going up the lift hill, you are quite high up.
Did you enjoy it?
Loved it. Great ride. Never done one of those wing coasters before, yeah, it's short. It's all the rides at Thorpe Park are short, and that's a UK thing. It's not long. I don't know whether to start talking about ride ups now or whether to bring it in later.
They were working at, and there were signs saying this, they were working at restricted capacity. So ride ups were not great.
I think they, I mean, it was the first time I've ever gone up to a ride and you could basically self-select what row you were in. And the guys who were there supposed to be directing you, the team members who were supposed to be directing you, they were just holding the height measurement stick that they had, but they weren't really efficiently pushing people towards. However, it was first thing in the morning. There wasn't a massive queue for it. We were literally had to wait for one train to dispatch before we got on, or before I got on. And yeah, they, as I say, we're used to theme parks. We're used to the Disney, the Universal theme parks, where they're super efficient, and they are trying to sort of make sure everybody gets on those rides as quickly as possible. And with the self-selection, there's probably just a little bit of delay. And because the swarm, because you've got to go over the track to the other side of the coaster, they weren't probably efficiently pushing people across to that other side of the coaster.
But that might be a bit different on a busier day.
Yeah, I
don't
want to judge it, but it wasn't the only ride we had sort of interesting ride ups on.
No, but we'll see what it's like next year when it's in season. So after the Swarm, we went to Stealth.
Yeah, Stealth. That is a Intamin accelerator coaster. Now, I believe that's very similar to sort of like Rita at Alton Towers, and I think it's the same as the Ferrari coaster that's going to be we're going to do at Portaventura in September, probably.
Just checking.
We're checking the database.
Ferrari Red Force is an Intamin.
Yeah, so it's an Intamin sort of.
It's an Intamin and a so this one's a hydraulic.
So slightly different launch mechanism, but same sort of thing. Essentially, you get launched from the station. So you get launched from the station, and yes, it was a hydraulic, because you could actually in the track see the little mechanism that sort of pushes you along, and then it comes back, and then as the train comes back again, then it gets reattached, and they push off the next train, you go up a top hat, and then you come back down, and not really much, and then come back into the station, and it was all right. Not really a lot to it, is there?
No, so it opened in 2006 and it's sort of loosely themed around an American Speedway. They seem to be doing some updates in the area. There was quite a lot of work going on around it. So it's a very similar restraint, if not the same restraint, to the Swarm. So again, 140 to 196 centimetres over the shoulder restraint with a belt up through your legs. Again, I didn't get on this ride.
I think you were about the same off getting on it there. I think another centimetre or 2 centimetres, and I think you would have been able to do that belt up. So not far to go for those, but it's very similar restraint. Really interesting ride ups again. They have a load and an unload station. They were running one car. Now, yes, it wasn't busy. However, they didn't seem to be saving any staff by running one car. They could have run 2 trains, and you could have been loading while the other one was unloading. It's a very short ride anyway, and the unload procedure and the load procedure was probably about 4 or 5 times the length of the ride.
Yeah, it was.
And I think later in the day, I mean, I walked on, and I think I waited for 3 trains to go through, but
that was still about 20 minutes.
Yeah, but later in the day it was sort of pushing the hour mark on a Monday in September when most people are at work. So I think just get 2 trains on it, Thorpe Park. It really, really will just help your throughput and just make things a bit more efficient. I'm fairly sure they don't need any more staff to train operations, because they had staff they had team members at the unload station, they had team members at the load station, they were doing the safety checks. 2 trains would have just sped up the output a little bit.
Absolutely, but we'll see what it's like during the peak season. So after that, we went to Nemesis Inferno.
Nemesis Inferno. So Nemesis Inferno, it's essentially the newer, sort of newer version.
Not that much newer.
It was built in 2000, or opened in 2003. Well, it was 9 years after the original. So the original Nemesis at Alton Towers opened in 1994. So it's a B&M inverted coaster. This one's themed to some sort of erupting volcano. And to be honest, there was lots of sort of misting effects and the queue. This it's quite well themed actually. I quite like
It
it.
looks pretty good.
It's as good a themed as Nemesis at Alton Towers, which I've got sort of a nice place in my heart. It's one of the first sort of real big thrill coasters I ever went on in 1994 when it first opened.
Showing your age.
Yeah, showing my age. It's I think it's a good ride. Those B&M inverteds are, your legs are dangling. They've got that noise, that rush. They've got really, really, really tight elements, corkscrews, inversions, and the turns on them. So they're a good thrill ride.
Yeah. So again, this had a similar restraint, so 140 to 196 centimeters over the shoulder restraint with a belt between your legs. However, there were 2 adapted seats per train. So the adapted seats had 2 seat belts. So I'll put the photo in now, but the belts go on either side of the restraint, which gives you a little bit more space. So if you feel like you would need the larger seat, just ask them for, and it says on the sign as well, it tells you where to go. You want to ask them for seat 3 in rows 4 or 5. Okay, so there's only 1 seat in each of the rows. So if both of you need one, you will have to sit separately.
I think it's on the sign though. It only says row 4, row 5. It doesn't tell you what number seat.
Yeah.
So I did fit in the test seat, which was one of the larger fitting seats, and decided that I would tell the cast member that I would need a larger seat in row 4 or 5, and they popped me in row 5 actually, which was fine. Apart from they put me and then they backed a group of 3 on me. So because the seat that I needed is row 3, that meant seat 3 in row 5. I had to sort of split that group up.
Yeah.
Luckily, they were lads. They were on a school trip. They didn't mind. They decided that they wanted to get on the ride. And to be honest, and they really enjoyed their ride as well. And I think they've not been on a lot of big coasters, so they they enjoyed it. And I was very thankful for them for accommodating me to sort of split their group up and sit in the middle of them. However, again, ride ups. I've told you what I need. Just put me in a row with.
And there's information on the sign as well by the test seat that says ask for the seat.
It's almost like the cast member didn't actually know what I was asking for.
No.
As if, she'd never been asked for that before. But
they take it very sensitively. Nobody makes you feel like you're like an outcast.
No. They did get on with it. And actually, the guys doing the safety checks on the ride were really helpful, getting me in the right seat, and they did it, because I did actually try to fit in seat 1, which is what I was put in with the thing, and I was just about a centimetre off getting inside the normal lap belt. So we just did a little bit of a shimmy move, and as I fortunately the lads that were popped in the queue with me were very accommodating. They decided to go move that. But I think the team member who was doing, and they were actually allocating people rows for that ride, which was good. But they could have just made sure I could get in the right seat.
Absolutely. So again, I didn't get on this ride. So we are going to Alton Towers in a couple of weeks. So we will see what Nemesis Reborn is like.
Nemesis Reborn
might make it by then.
Might do. Slightly more modern trains as well, so they might be slightly different, slightly more accommodating. One thing I've got to say, when you first leave the station, you go through this little, I wouldn't call it a dark ride portion, but it's a dark portion with lots of mist, and I think that's a really good effect in really sort of built the ride in. Because it's not built in the same sort of valley that the one Nemesis in Alton Towers is built in, where you sort of snake around the little valley, and you've got a lot of near miss elements. But it's still a good ride. Still a good ride. Very fast, thrilling, tight corners, tight elements.
So next we went to Hyperia, which is Tim's new favourite.
Sort of.
Favourite big roller coaster
in the UK.
Okay, he's being very specific. Anyway, so what is Hyperia, Tim?
It is a Mack hypercoaster. bear in mind, I've not been into big coasters for such a long time. I will work out what makes a hyper coaster and a giga coaster and all that. It's brand new. It opened last year. I think they did have some technical problems with it last year. It was a little bit intermittent. But to be honest, it was working very well.
Until someone flew a drone over it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they flew. I never saw the drone. I was in the queue at that point. I don't know if they. I'm assuming they're in the car park. That's the only thing I can assume, because the car park is sort of behind Hyperia, and I'm assuming that they were there, that they were spotted, and all the other rides seemed to be working.
Yeah, it was only Hyperia.
That Hyperia was stopped, and I don't know if Hyperia is more of a risk. It is on the edge of the park, so there isn't any. There's not much space between the edge of the ride and the car park, and I think they maybe, because of the speed, they want to be sort of on the err on the edge of caution, let's say. So they wanted to make sure that was well away and not going to interfere or accidentally crash into a ride car. They did keep us informed. They did tell us what was happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, I waited in the standard queue. What I didn't realise is there is a single rider as well, which I could have taken advantage of.
Because, yet again, I did not get on this ride. So this ride doesn't have an upper height limit because it is a lovely one of the new style lap belts. So
lap bar. It's an over the shoulder lap bar. So it's a lap bar, but it comes from over your shoulders on arms.
And you said it was extremely comfortable.
Very comfortable. However, I think it's not until you actually ride it you realise how much work that lap bar is actually doing. So once you've pushed the lap bar down, and once when the ride vehicle is dispatched, that lap bar is static. It is not going to move anywhere. I'm assuming it's kept in there by hydraulic pressure and locked, and unless it's released, it would not. That lap bar would not be released, but you get some airtime on that. Even though I felt in the team member they do get you to press it down, and they press down on it, it still let me lift out the seat. I was still got quite a significant amount of airtime, and I probably felt I spent most of the time with my weight against the lap bar rather than in the seat.
Did you feel secure though?
I felt secure. I wasn't going anywhere. No. I never felt like I was going to fall out of it. And to be honest, it's quite nice to get a little bit of movement. You don't want to feel like you've been stapled into the seat.
Absolutely.
And you can't get anywhere. And it's really nice to do a ride, especially a big thrill ride like Hyperia, and not have those stupid over the shoulder restraints that you bang your head and your ears against. It was really, you did feel free when you were doing that, and you do reach some speeds.
Which is what you want on a roller coaster.
You reach some speeds. It's got some beyond vertical elements, or what feel beyond vertical elements. It is the highest and fastest roller coaster in the UK now.
So I'll check.
So I'll let you talk about what you
said. So it's got a 130 centimetre minimum height restriction. As we said, because it's not an over the shoulder, there's no maximum height restriction. The test seat outside was quite good. It had a red and a green light, so you just had to get the green light on it. So it was quite easy to see whether or not you could get on the ride. But I'm fairly close. There's a photo here of what it looks like with the green light, so how far it needs to go. I think probably the next time we go I might be able to get on it.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So after Hyperia, we attempted...
Hold it, before we move on. It says here, it's themed to the goddess Hyperia.
That was what the information said on the website. I'm not convinced that there was any theming there. The logo is apparently the goddess Hyperia.
I thought it was themed to a corrugated iron shed.
Tim wasn't impressed with the theming, but he liked the ride.
The ride's very good. It does. It's still short, but it's not the shortest ride at Thorpe Park. So and yeah, it's a good thrill.
Yeah. So we then attempted Colossus. Now neither of us managed to get on Colossus. So what is Colossus?
It's an Intamin multi-inversion coaster.
So yeah, when it opened, it had the most inversions in the world. Um, in 2002, apparently it's themed to an Athenian ruin.
I don't know. Maybe we didn't get on it, so we didn't really see the queue. We didn't
No.
see any other theming elements.
I went on it in 2002, 2003, but that was a very long time ago now. Don't really remember. I remember queuing a very long time for it. Anyway, so again, it's another over-the-shoulder restraint with a belt, 140 to 196 centimeters. But even Tim was still an inch off.
This was, we were both quite considerably off these, which is to say I've got on everything else at the park
with similar
so far.
restraints.
It's got very similar restraints. We were sort of slightly surprised, but it does have the most inversions, so that restraint probably got quite a lot of work to do. So yeah,
and it is now quite old, unfortunately.
It looks
23 years old.
Looks a little bit tired, like it could do with a paint job, but yeah. I
Um,
don't know. Maybe that's the Athenian ruin sort of look.
Maybe. So the last roller coaster at Thorpe Park is Saw. So, what is Saw?
Saw is a Gerstlauer Eurofighter.
So it opened in 2009. It is themed to the Saw franchise, which is essentially.
I wouldn't know because I don't.
No,
we don't watch
horror.
I don't watch horror films. All I know is, so I did get on it. Is the first thing you do is you drop out of the station and you have what looks like a saw blade coming towards you, and before you duck underneath it. So I wasn't really expecting that.
So this one is again 140 to 196. It's an over-the-shoulder restraint, but doesn't have a belt. Now the test seat outside was one that had lights on it, again like Hyperia. So the red bulb was working, the green bulb was not working. So I decided to chance it. This was the first one that I chanced because the red light went out. So I thought maybe that means the green light should be coming on.
Yeah.
It still didn't get on the ride though. So the team member was very, very good. They were very understanding. We single rided it because the queue was ridiculous.
Yeah, the single rider queue was definitely worth looking at.
Absolutely. We walked straight onto the ride, and I think it was a 45-minute wait. So if you're not bothered about sitting together, go for it. She did suggest trying a different seat, but at that point I felt like I was sort of in the way a little bit. So
and she also offered you 2 fast passes to a ride that you couldn't get in as well.
Yeah, but they were very considerate about it. So I did tell her that the light had gone out on the test seat, but it was very loud in the load station, so I'm not sure she heard me. But I have fed that back to Thorpe Park as well, that the light had gone out. So hopefully they'll fix that, because they're about to close. So hopefully that'll be part of
I think again it's
closing.
possibly needing to train the team members that, you know, if you have got somebody, a larger guest, who does fit in the test seat and has tried the test seat, that you need to try and work out how to make sure you're accommodating and know which ride, because there may well be seats on that ride that could accommodate somebody who is a little bit larger. And the test seat is correct, but we don't know what the score is on that.
But we will try and find out.
I'm going to say I didn't like Saw.
Did you not?
No, I don't think it wasn't particularly comfortable.
Okay.
I mean, I don't particularly like the horror genre anyway, so it didn't really have any. I didn't have sort of any sort of connection with it, and I don't particularly think it's that comfortable of a ride, to be honest. It's quite jerky. It's got beyond vertical lift hill, and then quite a lot of drops and turns, and you're like on a 4 abreast car train. I just don't think it's that nicer experience. It's not particularly thrilling. It's just jerky, and it probably looks better from the outside than it does actually on the ride.
It does look quite good from the outside. Yeah. So because I didn't get on anything, and we're running annual pass holders, Legoland is on the way home. So we went to Legoland.
Yeah, for the afternoon.
Just for like an hour or two, just so I could go on a ride.
Yeah. And we did the dragon coaster.
We did the dragon coaster, and we enjoyed it very much. And we will do a video on Legoland at some point.
A very strange interactive dark ride.
Yeah, I still don't actually know how you triggered that.
Ninjaro.
Yeah.
What did you think of Thorpe Park?
I think
Apart from you can't get on any of your rides.
if you're into thrill coasters, which I would love to be if I could get on them, but hopefully soon, it would be a really good day. Really good. I think when you're used to ultra themed like we are with Disney and Universal, I I think it's difficult to compare the two because the whole selling point of Thorpe Park is the thrill.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely got its niche. It's not a big park. It's a really tiny park, to be honest. It's on a little island in, I mean, is it the Thames, I'm assuming, or the Thames Basin waterways? It's on a little island. What I can't understand is they've obviously gone for this big thrill coaster. So if you're children, if you're going with children, if you're going with family, and they are not at secondary school,
wait until they're
probably
140
not.
centimetres. Don't go with children below 140 centimetres. There was so little there for them to do.
To the point that there was so little, I couldn't understand. They have one junior coaster. They have a flying fish junior roller coaster, which is the same as like the Hungry Caterpillar, 2-lap special type thing. I can't understand why that's there.
No.
Is that the only thing somebody who is less than 140 centimetres can
Well, they
actually
used to have a
get
farm
on?
area. They removed all of the kids' rides.
I mean, we didn't do the flat rides, so I don't know what the state of the flat rides were. But
no, we only went on rides that had test seats because we didn't really want to be chancing it too much. And also, to be honest, by the point that Tim had done 6 coasters, I was, although enjoying the sunshine, I was ready to go to Legoland.
Yeah, and I think there's not a lot of theme in the theme park. There's a bit of loose theming around the rides, probably.
Amity Island.
And I think the Amity area is probably the area I'd like to go and explore.
It was, even though it was sunny, it was still a bit too cold to be doing tidal wave, and I didn't actually see anybody on tidal wave.
I don't even know if it was running, to be honest.
No, I'm not sure if it was.
But there was some food and drink options there that I'd like to go and would like to go and experience. There was a street food place that looked quite cool and smelt really nice, to be honest. So don't know what that's. And the Amity Island bit was probably the best amount of theming, and then the rest of the park it's a little bit weak, to be honest. It's not. It's an amusement park. It's not.
Yeah, but with some really good coasters.
Really good coasters, but as I say, I think they've gone. I don't know if that flying fish has just stayed there and they've got nothing else to do with that plot of land, so they're just keeping it there. But don't take kids under 140 centimeters. Like secondary school age and above, probably be fine. Don't take kids if they don't like thrill rides.
There's nothing.
Everything is a thrill ride. Everything is. And know that a extreme thrill ride as well. Everything that you experience significant amount of G-force on. They are your high drops, inversions. There's a lot of that at Thorpe Park, and not a lot of anything else.
No, so I am really looking forward to going back when the park reopens in the new year, and hopefully getting on some roller coasters. So follow along, and we will see you soon with our next theme park adventure.
Yeah. Do we know what that is yet?
So we are going to Chessington this weekend.
Yes, we're going to Chessington World of Adventures. Another part I've never been to. I think you
I've never been. No, I've never been to Chessington.
Oh, so we're first time Chessington. That's a bit more family theme park, and there's some sort of zoo thing.
We will find out.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.